And I referenced like the Walmart before. It's like Walmart's
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. They're where the people are. People need things
Facts.
from, so deliver to them. The less you're delivering, the less you're going to be able to use your gifts and talents to be able to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And helping other people is how you're going to get to where you want to go. Everybody has big dreams and aspirations of doing and being, but you have to be, do, have. And so if you don't, if you aren't, you can't do, so you can't have. So like when people are asking me questions, I'm like, have you done?
Yeah, we got DM Braxton in the, we got DM Braxton in the, we got DM Braxton in the classroom.
It's crazy how fast content moves from day to day, week to week, and month to month. It's like something you saw yesterday you can't find again, but you want to know more about it. You want to figure out how you can watch it again, or where is this clip? Actually, what you might need to do is start maximizing your content and figuring out how to use it more than once, because then the people that are looking for your content again can find it again. D.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's it. Welcome to the Content Classroom. Class is in session, and we're talking all about maximizing your content. Yep.
We got to figure out how to stick a bell there.
Yeah.
I probably already did it by now.
Oh, yeah. It's done.
When it comes to maximizing content, like, where do people go wrong?
Exactly what you already said. You know, what we see, well, I think what we see a lot is, especially for folks who are not really content creators, but maybe they use content for their business or their brand to promote, market, whatever, is like they'll put out something that is actually like really valuable, really interesting or funny or whatever, really helpful, a good tip, and then like we'll never see it again.
Yeah.
And so I think you said something really good, like the internet content, it all moves so fast that somebody might see it and love it, but then when they want to come back to it, they can't. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I'll be on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see something I want to show my husband real fast or show whoever's next to me, and then before I know it, my feed is refreshed, and I'm like, oh man, where'd it go?
Yeah.
But it's just the speed at which content moves. I think that is a big piece of it. Yeah, so to your point, content and everything moves so fast, and it's easy for your content to get lost. So you never just want to post it one time or in one place. But yeah.
Yeah, there's so many platforms. I think it's important for people to find what few platforms fits them best.
Facts.
And what they're going to be able to maximize. Because if you say, hey, I want to do TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, like, and all the various in between, you're going to get lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce, because first of all, like when we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, their features are so similar.
Yeah.
They all do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. Like getting out of the mindset that you have to be everywhere, when you may not need to be everywhere. You may just need to focus in on a few, a couple, not even a few, like a couple, and maximizing those spaces to the people that are there.
I think that what's very important is YouTube for me, and I think YouTube in general is a very important platform, because if you make any type of long form content, the other platforms are just basically your billboards.
Yep.
And use YouTube as your, hey, let me sit down and make a 10-minute, an hour. People go live on YouTube for like 3 or 4 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's so much content to repurpose for your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube Shorts, your Facebook Reels. Like,
exactly.
You just repurpose the stuff, and then whatever the purpose. I think a lot of people forget about the purpose of content and why they're making it and what's the end goal. Some people just make stuff just because, but a lot of people that are doing successful things in business are building their content to their platform, to their network, to wherever it is they're building as a large structure. And I think find your structure and your purpose behind the content that you're making before you actually decide to sit down in front of a camera or microphone.
Exactly. No, I think you hit it on the head with that. Like understanding why you're making it in the first place will also inform how to maximize it well.
Yeah.
Because if you're just making it just to make it, then once you get a few like likes, comments, once you get your likes, your comments, your views on that piece, you're done.
Yeah.
Because now you got your dopamine hit because it felt good that people saw it and people liked it.
Yeah.
And once you pass that point, now you're thinking about the next thing when there's still so much you can do with that piece.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been doing a lot of, and I love that you brought up like YouTube and just going from long form to short form, because that's the easiest way to be consistent and to repurpose and maximize. Because like you said, like your Instagram, your TikTok, what other platforms you're on, those are the billboard for what you actually want people to be, where you actually want people to be going and watching a full length piece, a full length episode, a full length whatever.
Yeah.
And then knowing that that full length thing serves a bigger purpose, whether that's, you know, like for you, whether that's like you want people to be, essentially you want people to be coming to you for different services and coming to you for your expertise, right?
Yeah.
And so putting out information that people can watch and see you as an industry expert, see you as an expert in your field, then they know like, oh, all I got to do is click that link to get on his calendar and get some work done, right? But it all started with that short form piece that led to the long form that then led to hopefully like a client or a project or something like that. But knowing from the forefront, like this is what this piece of content is going to do. This is what I want to tell people. And this is how I'm going to use it in not just YouTube, but also on my other platforms where I'm at. That's major. One of the things I was going to ask you was when you're working with people and creating content, podcasts, you know, YouTube channels, all of that, building it out. How do you, what's the strategy or the plan that you give people for using content, more, like you said, like more than once? Is there a specific way that you do it that is helpful for folks that you work with?
Yeah. So I think what I try to convey first is that the importance of the content and how expansive it's going to be, because you're going to essentially reach people by putting the thing out as many times as possible, way more than you will in your local area by just being in a place or talking to your local people. It's a whole world out here, and there's so many people that can be helped by your story and the content and information that you have to deliver. So once that's conveyed and understood, it now goes into, all right, this is the piece we're making. How do we maximize it on specific said platforms? But how do we maximize it to that specific audience? So things like catchy titles that have keywords and SEO searches to say, hey, this, and this targets this audience. And once you have that base audience in, they're going to tell their next people, and it's just going to keep building in that community. So by using tools like Answer the Public, like it's a great tool of typing a word in and seeing how that word is triggered throughout the internet, and then using AI tools to create descriptions for 30 different short form contents, or even using Opus Clip. Use the tools available, because that's going to save us time and give us more ability to create more content going forward.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, you know, I'm definitely a fan of, so every month, at the end of each month, I'll go through, especially on like my different social media, I'll go through and I'll look at, you know, what clips hit the most. What did people resonate with the most? What topics, what, you know, what style, even running through the analytics, right? And even if it's like right now, I'm looking at stuff I was posting this time last year, that I only posted one time. Even if it was, you know, I only posted it one time on Instagram or Facebook, right? Those are the two where I spend the most time. I be on other stuff too, but like I'm specifically like doing stuff on those two. So what I'm getting at though is I'll look at those pieces in those videos and I might find a way to post that same reel again. and post, or take the same content and information out and make a new one. Because over the last year, I've gained new followers. I've gained not just new followers, but my reach has expanded beyond what I was reaching last year. A different audience even than what I was reaching. Last year I may have had more hits from people that know me personally, and this year I'm reaching beyond just my immediate community. So what I'm getting at is like, how many times is too many times, in your opinion, to post the same stuff, the same, whether it's the same video or whether it's just the same content from a video? In your opinion, how many times is too many times? Is there a too many?
Until you run out.
Okay.
I don't think there's a too many, because on the platforms, it doesn't matter how many times you post, the same people aren't going to see the same stuff.
Yeah.
There might be a small group of people that actually follow and connect with your content, but everybody's not going to see the same thing, especially between TikTok, Reels, and stuff like that.
And they'll
Shorts.
forget.
Yes, exactly.
We take in so much.
What was that I saw 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. I remember who made it. Now let me scroll through their feed. But now, if you're consistent with it, you're scrolling through the feed and you're just like, oh, I didn't see this. This is new.
Yeah.
So now it's like you're consuming more. So I don't think there is a too much. I think there is a target. And I've posted, so you have regular content and then you have event content. Event content, I feel like you should know that there's an event happening, no matter if you come from somewhere else. If you follow the page, you need to be continuously reminded. For example, I went to an event I shot yesterday. There was one post about it, but the person knows people, so they are connected. It was intertwined, connected kind of thing. But I personally feel like at least every other day there should have been a post, a reminder, something. I don't know. I don't follow the specific page, but I actually only saw one post of the event. And so when I see the things, I'm like, hey, I'll tell the people, like, why you only post this one time? Like, let's maximize the ability by giving people opportunity. You can always archive posts.
Yeah. And you know what? Since meeting you, that has been a thing that I've had to work on too, of just like events and not getting into the trap thinking that if I post it too many times within a week, it's a problem. When it's not, because like you said, there's some people who missed it. Yeah. And then even the people that saw it, remind them again and keep reminding them so it sticks. Like the repetition really makes it stick.
It does.
I love that there is no too many until you run out. So you were saying, so there's the event content, but then there's another piece of type of content. So, what's that?
General content, if it could be general content for me is anything that's not event based, because events there's something something you need to come to. But general content can be anywhere from podcast to information or conversation.
They can always be used. Yeah.
So what I like to do with those to really maximize that is batch create.
Yeah.
Because now when you start posting short form, it's not the same thing over and over again with the same people or same topic. You can mix. So like for people that are starting podcasts, I do a decent amount of podcasts for people. So when they start their shows, I like to batch create their shows, because then for the next 3 weeks after that, you can have content from multiple different shows.
Yeah.
One showing versatility and reaching different markets early in your show base, because if you're talking about one thing on one show and then that's all that's posted for a week, people that need to hear what you talked about next week might not click follow because what you're talking about now doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
So just having a variety of information to deliver off top.
Absolutely. No, I love that. That was like the biggest thing I wanted to hit, because I think I've found that there are folks who will literally just post something one time and then wonder why it didn't work.
They haven't seen the traction.
Yeah, they don't see the traction. It doesn't work. And it's like, well, give it some time and then post it again. Yeah. Because the shelf life of content, especially on these, like you said, not even just necessarily, not really YouTube. It's different on YouTube, but
Yeah.
the shelf life of content on
Especially
other
on-
platforms, it is so like you post it and within 24 hours, unless it literally goes viral,
Yeah.
within 24 hours, it's done. It's a wrap. It has came and gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes within not even a full 24 hours, just depending on how many people you
Yeah.
might follow and how much you see in your feed.
And that's why like paying attention and studying your analytics is so
It
important.
is key.
Because then you can break down the demographics of people that are watching your stuff, what time they're watching, what
How
region
long
they're
they're
in,
watching
how long
it.
they're watching.
Mhm.
So all that's important because the development, like, so there's a generation of people that just see content as what young people are doing, but
It's just wild.
while their business lines are going down because they're not where the people are. Even there, it's a weird little gap there.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you're not where the people are, you're not going to be able to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I referenced like the Walmart before. It's like Walmart's everywhere. They're where the people are. People need things
Facts.
from, so deliver to them. The less you're delivering, the less you're going to be able to use your gifts and talents to be able to help other people. And helping other people is how you're going to get to where you want to go. Everybody has big dreams and aspirations of doing and being, but you have to be, do, have. And so if you don't, if you aren't, you can't do, so you can't have. So like when people are asking me questions, I'm like, have you done? And if you haven't yet done, don't ask me questions because you're taking me away from doing in order to having was for me. Yeah.
And you haven't taken that action step.
Yeah, the actions are so important.
You asking me hypothetical questions and you ain't taking no action yet.
I'm like, have you done this, and this? And it's like, no, I never even thought. Well, okay, well, we're in the right place. Let's think.
Well, there you go. Let's think. Just think about it for a second.
Yeah, take a moment.
And that's a big thing because, you know, even in maximizing content, and you get so caught up in information paralysis.
Yeah.
Where you're asking all these questions and you're trying to always trying to learn something new. Like, I need to do this new tactic. I need to use this new thing and that new thing. And it's like, but you have good things to share. You just don't do it.
Exactly.
That was great. Yeah. What else you got?
I want to ask you a couple questions, especially like it's different creating content when you're a solo content creator versus having a content team.
Absolutely.
And so from people on YouTube to businesses, you have larger YouTubers that have teams.
Yep.
Then you have businesses that have teams, but then you have businesses that are solo and YouTube creators that are solo. As a business and as a creator in that market, how do you feel like you're maybe behind the mark of where you want to put out content because maybe you don't have this 3 or 4 person team that one person records, or maybe somebody records and edits your stuff and you're able to freely think and create? How do you feel about that structure?
Ooh, ask me one more time.
Let me condense that because I did give a lot of context before I ever asked the question. How do you feel as a creator? Essentially kind of creating the things on your own versus having someone that comes in, shoots, records for you and post where you can freely think and create yourself?
That's a great question because I tend to fall into because I have spent a lot of time doing it for other people and coming in with the equipment and doing the content for other people. It is not as difficult for me to just go ahead and do it. I think for me, it's more of a control thing. I'm gonna be honest. Like there is opportunity to possibly get somebody else to be creating certain things for me to come in and do things, but I just don't want to relinquish the control yet. And that's just like a creative control. I don't know, creatives, we tend to be real like this is how I like it.
I see it. This is how I want it.
Boom. Yeah. But I will say, so as a solo content creator, because I think I fall into the trap, not the trap. I think I fall into both of like, I am a solo content creator where my content I created myself. My husband, he is always there to like help. Like he sets up stuff and I'll be like, hey, can you hit record again? Like thankfully I'm married to someone who like is not like averse to it. I know there's some couples out there where like one might be really into it and the other one may not be that much. He's not a photographer or videographer or anything, but he just has a value for creating content and being out there.
That's just a great spouse.
Yeah. And he in his own right, he does a lot of his own stuff too, outside of me, and was doing it before we became like before we got married and all this stuff. So like he has an eye for it too. And so I tend to be like kind of in this middle ground of like, I could hire somebody to just come and do it for me. But because I know how to do it, I know how to do it. My husband is typically like very helpful and will make himself available to help out. And we'll like double team. Like he has content that he has to create for his ministry and for his organization. And at the same time, I have content I want to be creating for just like my own platform as well as like our studio. So, we tend to like, we tend to double team it, and that is a huge lift. But for the business side, I am getting to a point where like, I'm going to outsource this. I'm going to bring in somebody else to come and shoot this for the client. So for my personal stuff, I'm way more hands-on with it. I want to be more hands-on with it. For clients and in the business, I'm slowly releasing all of that. So it's kind of a both and, if that makes sense. How do I do that? I think what I found is for clients, to your point, it makes more sense from a business standpoint to let that go. Because otherwise, if I'm always the one wanting to create for my clients, and it's the same way even in our personal content, like we're going to get to this point too in our personal content. We just haven't gotten there yet. But if I want to actually grow the business, and if I want to actually be, you have to outsource. At some point, I can't be the service provider and the business owner because I'll be so busy providing the service that I won't work on the business. And so that is where I found myself recently, especially now that I'm about to have this baby. Like by the time y'all see this, the baby will be here, hopefully. But there is this space now that I'm having to understand, like I have to let certain parts of service providing go in order to grow. I can't be the solopreneur creating all the stuff for the clients all the time. Even if it's just like, okay, for this client, I'm just not going to edit. I'll shoot. Because we can schedule one shoot day. That's just a couple hours one day. I'll shoot it all. But do I have the capacity to also sit down and edit?
Edit the whole thing.
Probably not. Like, I probably don't. And that's okay. So, even outsourcing looks different for different projects. Like, there's some where it's like, I probably can't shoot that. And it probably doesn't make sense for me to shoot that. Because there are some clients that... they're kind of lower tier. And if that's the case, then I'll just bring in somebody who's like on that level to shoot it for me. And then, there's just a certain price point that I will get up and go. But in that sense, depending on the project, depending on the client, determines like what it is I'll outsource in order to make more time for, like you said, for just thinking, for being creative, for finding new ways to help the client that don't necessarily mean like I have to be the one coming and setting up the camera and the lights and making sure the audio sounds good. Like I trust another technician to do that while I'm thinking about their strategy or while I'm thinking about, how to help them grow long term. But so it's kind of both and for me. I don't know. What about you? Like, where do you fall with that? Because you're also like, how to do all the things. So have you had any like resistance in giving up that creative control?
Yeah, of course. So for me, I slowly keep trying. But I have to personally like this is a personal thing. I have to personally understand that everybody's not going to see and think not like me, but at the rate that I do. So I think and operate quickly into things. So like if I see something not happening in the rate of time that my head would think of doing it, then I have to go do it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, do this right here like this.
Yeah. Just do this.
Yeah. And instead of me just saying, hey, let's try doing this way. And like I know how to communicate the stuff, but I think that the time that it takes me to communicate, I could just already have it done.
Yeah.
But I'm saving time in the future by now someone knows how to do this or that. So the next time if I am saying, hey, let's do it this way, they already know how versus me having to go do the thing. So I could be saving myself time in the future.
Yeah.
But at this current moment, I'm like, all right, I can just get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on that because
that's real.
As productions continue to grow and need more equipment, more time, more stuff, I can't just do it all myself because now it's taking me 2 hours to set up versus it could take 30 minutes with 3 people.
Facts.
So it's a push and pull. And then for my personal stuff, it always ends up on the back burner because I always do everybody else's stuff.
Yeah, and that was a big reason. I'm so glad you said that. Like that was a big reason why I started to think about, other than being pregnant, but think about like how can I still serve people who want it without putting what we got going on the back burner. Because I still have a business that also needs content and that also needs marketing and that also needs all these things that I've been providing to other people. And so, but that goes back to that idea of like providing the service and then working on your business too. A lot of agencies, I've worked at a few different agencies that provide business services, whether that be marketing, and that always includes social media. Like people will come to a business agency, a PR agency, and they'll always want social media. And what I found is like those agencies, and I worked for them, those agencies, they fall into the trap of they'll hire a team to do the service for their clients, but that same team does not have the capacity to do it for the business. And so, it's why, like, this is a real thing. So, like, a lot of times I've seen, like, service-based agencies grow. And as they grow, they are growing for the sake of serving their client base because their client base is now growing, which is amazing. But there isn't as much forethought put into like if you hire someone to come in and do social media for your business, do they also have the capacity to do it for your business? Do they also have the capacity to take the lift off of doing it for your clients or vice versa? You hire somebody because now you have more clients and you need help servicing your clients. Well, does that person also have capacity to service your business? Because they may not, just depending on how quickly your business is growing, how much time needs to be put into like you said, like,
and are they managing things well in order for them to grow as well as growing with you?
Exactly. And like what tends to happen is like it always happens that they put you as the owner, put your business on the back burner because you want to service your clients really well. And of course you do. You want to service your clients and you want to make sure the people that you are hiring to do that are doing a good job. And if that means that this week we don't put anything out about our business, then so be it.
Yeah. It's that really goes into the growth of your business will develop with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you can develop yourself while you're developing your clients, you're going to be able to continue to scale your client base.
That is facts.
And that's how your business is going to grow. Because if you keep scaling your clients, at some point you're going to be over your head and overwhelmed. And your ability, working and doing your own content is what grows you.
Yeah.
So when you grow, your clients are going to grow because your ability and strength and knowledge base has grown.
Yep. And even like your clients will grow, but even the caliber of clients that you get will grow. Like, you know, yes, the individual client that you've had for the last 6 months, they're going to grow too. But then you're going to get an inquiry from a new client who is a different caliber of client than this one that you've
seen
had.
the work that you put in your growth.
And that's exactly what I've seen just in this year. Like the caliber of clients that I'm getting now versus when I started the year out is totally different. But I know it's because for the last 3-4 months, I've been more focused. Well, I'll say the last 90 days, I've been focused and very diligent and consistent in the content that I put out, both for the business and for myself. And so people are seeing that. They're seeing that development. They're seeing that growth. And not only that, it has led to even some of those lower tiered clients falling off, which is not a bad thing because I'm getting a higher caliber of client at the same rate coming in.
That's good.
And that is like so true, that development piece of it. And I don't think we think about that as, creative entrepreneurs and creative business owners. Like, the more we develop ourselves and how we're positioning ourselves as creators and in the market, the higher caliber and growth that you'll see for people that you serve too.
Yeah.
Which is always the point, right?
That definitely is. And I think that's why it's so important for people to actually create once and repurpose 10 times.
10 times. Yeah. That's good. At least 10 times.
And that goes. What's crazy is that you can use one piece so many times by basically just using your creativity.
Yes.
So, for example, we can use a clip of us from this show now to just be a clip. It can have us talking. It can convey a point. But then we can use that, strip the audio, and then convey another point about doing the thing.
Exactly.
So now we're not talking about the actual contents, but we're talking about the context.
Yep.
And then taking that coupled with the behind the scenes clip and say such and such, such and such. Now you've used one piece of content that's 10 seconds long.
Literally.
3 times. And without working hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, you didn't do anything yet.
And this same concept, what I don't want to get away from is the fact that this same concept works for businesses that have blogs. If you create a long form piece of content, a blog, how many Instagram clips can you make about that same information?
Yeah.
You have the script. You have the information. Sit down in front of the camera and say it out loud, right?
Twitter's your best friend.
It's your best friend.
Use threads.
Like,
what's that other one?
Just copy and paste it.
Medium.
Yes, Medium. Yeah. And it's the same concept, even with a different content format. It's not just for video and audio. It also works for the written word. Yeah. And if you happen to be one that has or graphics on social media, if you know that this is what you're talking about on your blog, on your website, that's helping build your SEO on Google, like, be talking about that on your Instagram, because what that then does, like you said, it's the billboard. Yeah. It pushes people to your blog now, which is your website. That's repurposing.
Yes, that you just made me think of a great point. People aren't like.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
Just take some thought.
But you have to give people a call to action to get back to your place
every time.
So like you put the stuff on the billboard, but is your description telling you something immediately to say, oh, I need to click this link to get to where I need to be? That is it.
Yes, I just saw an Instagram reel of this. He's like a expert, like content expert or whatever.
Like you and I?
Yeah. Cool. And I've been following him for a long time. But he said, like, it's like this astronomical percentage of how many people don't use call to actions. Yeah. And he was like, call to actions, you may think in your mind, and this is from him, I'm not even saying anything that I came up with. We may think in our minds that if we put it's obvious. Like, it's obvious people are going to click. And it's not that obvious. Like, and he was like, we are really like sheep. Like, point us in the right direction and tell us what to do. And he was like, every time there's a call to action, there's like this crazy, like 84% more likely to follow the call to action than if there wasn't one at all.
Yeah,
people just keep scrolling. Yeah, versus put a call to action, tell people what you want them to do, and 84% of the time, there's 84% more likelihood that they will do it than if you don't include it at all.
Yeah, just shock the algorithm and start moving your call to actions in different places.
Yeah. At the end, like, put it in the middle.
Like, say a couple words, give them a call to action, then go into it or something.
Keep going.
Yeah, so just like mixing it up allows you to to use this stuff so many more times and to be instrumental.
Yes.
Because like we said at the beginning, purpose and like, what is the purpose?
What is the purpose? What are you here for?
Yeah, just here. Just to show up. And showing up is good once you figure out why you're showing up.
Yes.
You gotta know why you're showing up first.
Absolutely. And that is key to repurposing.
It definitely is. Agreed. Well, there's the air conditioning. We got anything else on it?
Well, I think that's it.
I think we covered a lot. We said a lot. Yeah, we did, and have.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think class is dismissed. Go out and repurpose your content.
Bye. See y'all later. Whatever.